How's Rebirth been? It's not for me. But certain days, like when runs die, I'll probably put up polls for what the backup game should be. And I'll put it on the polls, and so if people want to see more grumpy bitching at it, then, then they can vote for it. You know what's funny, Alundra, is like that was part of the realization about it. That was part of the realization about it was that I realized that, like, I don't care anymore, you know? Like, people are always saying, oh, I can't wait to see what Gold Saucer looks like. Oh, I can't wait to see what Temple looks like. And I realized that, like, I don't care. I don't care what Gold Saucer looks like in the new one. You know? I'm over it. Because every time that I do see how one looks, I go like, oh, yep, alright. Like I saw Junon, you know? I walked into Junon the first time and I was like, oh, that's what they did with it. Right? And like that was it. Because like even if the environment looks really good, what immediately happens then is like you go to the inn and you find like an innkeeper that's like a new fucking NPC that's got a 10-minute conversation with you, and I just don't care, man. Like in Junon, when you first go in there and here's fucking new character to like talk about how you all have bounties on your head, but even though we're gonna bring that up, we're also gonna say that it doesn't matter, and it's just a bunch of worthless bullshit. Also, that we can get into the new version of Junon that's so over-designed that it's a nightmarish pain in the ass to navigate or get anywhere or find the building that you're looking for. Calm is the same way. It's just like a confusing hellscape where, like, where the hell are you in that town? I don't fucking know. I can't tell my ass from my elbow when I'm in that place. And then you get out into the open world, and you're like, okay, maybe at least the open world will have like a nice area for me to run around and kind of feel a little bit more free. No. Just as over-designed, just as fucking over-busy on the screen. Also, the camera is way too close to your character and way too low to the ground. So a third of the screen is covered up by chocobo ass. So you can't see where the hell you're going, and every 2 seconds your character has to lock into an animation of jumping over a tiny rock, or you're running into a tree or something. You can't just fucking move. So yeah, you know, game's not for me. Oh, I got more complaints. Again, I don't think the game is bad, I just think it's not for me, right? I find the battle system to be an annoying clusterfuck. Like, I honestly kind of despise the battle system. Because, like, the battle system is just like, the enemies just don't telegraph their attacks at all, it feels like, for the most part. Some of them do sometimes. Yeah, that's not enough. Most of the time, I feel like the attacks, like, aren't telegraphed. They're coming from an enemy that's off-screen, you know? Oh, dude, the writing and voice acting, like, okay, so, again, just like in Remake, they nailed Cloud, right? Cloud nailed him. The writing is good. The voice acting is good. I'm really, really happy with how they portrayed Cloud, right? Everyone else, though, good God. Like, Eris and Tifa, have you guys noticed how, like, Eris and Tifa will be, like, reasonable, and then all of a sudden the silly music will start, and Eris and Tifa just, like, transform into two fucking thoughtless, giggling girls for a few minutes so that they can have some dumb fan service. Oh, man, and don't even get me started on every fucking NPC in the game. You know, people like to make fun of JRPGs and the way that it's like you can tell which characters are important just by their clothes. You know, because every character that's not like a main character is just like super basic and like a nobody, you know? I mean, not that there can't be something in between. I feel like a lot of the time JRPGs aren't given enough credit where that's not really the case. Plenty of NPCs in this game do have personality. The game just doesn't feel the need to spend 20 minutes explaining it to you. But anyway, then the opposite other side of things is like FF7 Rebirth, where it's like, oh my god, every single NPC. Do we really need a 3-minute cutscene about Crybaby Ned explaining why he cries so much and why people call him Crybaby Ned? Can he not just say his name and then you play the boring card game with him? Oh, man. It's like every fucking NPC in the game has to be a goddamn event. Okay, sorry. They got me going again, Zeal. They got me going again. And here's my point about it. Crybaby Ned is a funny idea, and the voice actor commits to it in a way that's funny. But the problem is that the cutscene is 2 minutes long. You know? Like, we get it! How was the Zolom? Oh my god. Do you guys remember in FF7 when you're like, I'm gonna see what's across this marsh? Oh no, there's a giant, scary, undefeatable monster in the way that whoops the shit out of me. How am I gonna deal with this? And then you discover chocobos. You have to go out and catch a chocobo yourself, and then you can use that to outrun the Zolom. Because there's no way to fight. Do you guys remember that? But then in the remake, what happens in the remake? Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember what happens? You try to walk in the marsh, and guess what it is? Invisible fucking wall. That's how they decided to 25 years later, and what do we get instead? An invisible wall that prevents you from going into the marsh with a little text box that says, hey, snake BTW, can't do it, snake in the way. What snake? I don't see him. You mean like a tiny one? What's the problem? I don't see a snake, but the text box insists that there's a snake. So, okay, you go to the ranch, and instead of catching a chocobo, that could be kind of fun, and something like Breath of the Wild, where you catch horses in Breath of the Wild, nah. Instead, it's like, hey, we have a chocobo that's already domesticated. Doesn't that sound exciting? And so, this chocobo that's already domesticated, let's lock you in to some stupid fucking fake stealth sequence where you walk at a 0.5 mile per hour so you can sneak up on it and catch it, and now it's your chocobo forever. Instead of it being like a fleeting, mysterious creature that you don't really have control over and it runs away when you get off of it, and it's an exciting feature later when you actually get to keep one. But for now, no, right away, you just get one forever from a stupid fucking stealth game. Okay, so now we go into the marsh with the chocobo, and even though we got a chocobo because we weren't allowed to cross the marsh because there was a snake there, right? We needed the chocobo. So when we get the chocobo and we go into the marsh, what happens? Oh, the snake attacks you and the chocobos run away. So what was the point of the chocobos? They run away and you fight the snake and kill him anyway. What was the point of the chocobo? Oh my god!
What the hell is going on here?
So anyway, the game's not really for me.
fucking sacks at lambs.
Oh, brother.